Good morning, good morning, good morning, community. How are you? Jenenne Macklin, speaker, wealth, catalyst, and coach. Happy Tuesday. I did a webinar last week, and one of my team members was sitting on with me for the first time. And after I finished, she was like, "That was phenomenal." And then as we continued to talk about it that day and the next day, she was saying, "This is a conversation that every woman should be having." And I thought, oh, I like that. Conversations that women should be having. So before I go into that, I just want to touch base, see how are you? Things are shifting a bit. Some things are opening up. Trust that it's going to be a little bit chaotic in this transformation and this transition. People are walking around now without masks because they've been vaccinated. So they don't feel like they need to have a mask on, even though we were cautioned to still wear it. So now you don't know who's not wearing a mask because they're being defiant or who's not wearing a mask because they've already been vaccinated. Trust and believe we'll get through it all. At the core of our being, we're strong and powerful people. And we've been in this journey now for a year and have at least probably 4 or 5 more months to go. And then probably years after that, just to step into the new, however we're going to be, because we can't go back. What's that going to look like going forward? But I want to talk about that a little bit. This is a subject, or this is a conversation that every woman should be having. And I particularly want to ask women, how often do you have a conversation about money? I mean, as we're healing so much on this planet, we have to heal our relationships with each other, our relationship with the government, our relationships with, the police and different authorities. But one of the relationships I wonder, do you ever take into consideration, and that's your relationship with money, with finance, with prosperity and abundance? How are you when it relates to that particular relationship? Because you do have a relationship with money, right? Even though it's an inanimate object, it doesn't walk, talk, or do anything. It is, tantamount to stress and worry for everybody. Don't think 6 and 7, 8-figure people don't still have things that they're concerned about. I have I'm sure he's about a 7-figure client, and there's still things that concern him. But I'm particularly talking about women because women, we won't talk about money, and I'm wondering how come? How come you will not talk about money? How come you will not learn about money? How come you will not allow yourself to be empowered with new ideas, new principles, and thoughts that can help you have a different relationship with money? Because we all have a relationship with money. We probably haven't thought about it that way, but we do. Some people hate it. Some people can't stand it. Others have a hard time managing it. People live by money comes in, money goes out. I heard something on Facebook the other day. Someone was saying, well, as soon as I got my stimulus check, something broke down. So people have those experiences over and over. And what gets me, hi Alethea, James, is that if you're having these experiences, how come you won't do something different? How come you won't really be willing to think something different, consider something different? And I'm not saying that your finances are in a bad state or anything. I'm just saying that you could be in greater alignment with it and see greater results with it. But we won't even show up and talk about it. We won't even show up to even listen to see where we are, maybe out of alignment, and the few shifts and tweaks we could make to be in a better relationship with money. Good to see you too, my dear. How are you? And where are you? Hi, Adrian Galvini. Let me know what state you're in. So it really concerns me going forward because we are, I can't remember the number, but we are head of the households. The number's high. And if we're still using the information we received in high school as it relates to money and trying to balance our money and have a relationship where we can step into abundance and prosperity, then we're using outdated information. I mean, depending on when you went to high school, we didn't even have computers and all that going on in high school. So where do you upgrade the thoughts that you have about money for different results? Where do you understand that there may be some new ways to think about money so you can have a different experience with it? You're not supposed to be here worried about money every day. You're not supposed to be here being concerned about when's your check going to come and how you're going to pay this and how you're going to pay that. That's not what we're here for. We are here to learn, and I guess that's one way we're learning, is how we manage that relationship. And it is a relationship. I know you may not think of it as that, because we tend to think of relationships with ourselves, other humans, and clearly you think relationships with dogs, because that is what greets me every morning, is everybody with their dogs. So people in your family, and then I'm sure coworkers, and then dogs. But you have a relationship with money. And if I asked you to score it below, don't be shy. We ain't got time for shy. Men talk about money like it's nothing. And women sit around talking about hair and nails and clothes, all while struggling to understand the principles of money. That's not happening on my watch. But when do you begin to update what you understand about money, what you were taught about money, and keep updating it and keep updating it? Because see, if you're like my family, they didn't talk about money. So there already we got a problem. They didn't talk about money. They didn't talk about money. I think when I was 16, 17, started working, my mom told me I'd help out with the bill. And so I helped out, I think, with the phone bill or the gas bill, which I had no problem with because it made sense to me. But was I taught about money? Was I taught about budgeting? Was I taught about the mindset with money? I wasn't. Were you? So then it becomes amazing to me that we're having conversations and women don't participate. We can't get away from money. It is a relationship, and you get to decide how amazing that relationship's going to be, how you're going to be aligned with it, what energy and vibration and thoughts you need to think, so you literally can attract money into your life. Now, let me not sell this and everybody think, ooh, if I think a certain way, I can get money. That is true. That is true. But you have to be willing to think that certain way all the time. Not think it for a little bit and then see some results and then stop thinking it. It's about really, when was the last time you upgraded your mindset, conversation, thoughts about money, about prosperity, about wealth? You know, do you decide that, oh, well, it's just too hard, I can't do it. So you just live the way you live and accept it. But you have to understand, money's inanimate, right? You know, it doesn't walk, it doesn't talk, it doesn't do anything. It's just there wherever you put it. So the emphasis really has to be more so on the person who's handling the money, the person who's navigating the money, and the person who's thinking the particular thoughts about money. Where are you? Yep, we have green parrots out here that just scream sometimes in the morning. So I just want you to think about that. Hey, Carol Williams, how are you? I just want you to think about that, because it is a conversation that women need to be having. We cannot continue to be silent about money. We cannot continue to sit and act like there aren't principles, there aren't practices, there's not information you can get to have a different relationship with money. For some people, when your marriage isn't working, you go to a marriage counselor. You know, when you break your leg or break your nail, or not your nail, when you break your arm or break your wrist, you go to the doctor and get it wrapped up and bandaged. So when you're in a broken relationship with money, how come you don't do something to shift it so it's a more powerful relationship? It's a relationship that actually gives you and brings you what you want to see showing up in your life. Or do you believe that that's not possible? Do you believe that you can't have that? So I'm trying to see what time it is. It's important to us to really begin to take an assessment of ourselves. Where are you in your relationship with money? Where do you want to be? And how come you haven't made that change? It's time for us to start paying taxes. Okay. It's time for us to start paying taxes. I'm doing good, Carol. How are you doing? It's time for us to look at our income. You know, and everybody's looking at income, want money back, want money back. I used to do my taxes so that I didn't get money back, but I also didn't have to pay any money. I need money back. So it is not prudent for us to think we can just continue to do what we've always done, because you're going to keep getting the same results. We have to be willing to step into what I call the CEO position in your life and create and develop your financial confidence, So you make strategic decisions, especially going forward, especially in America. We still only make 80 cents of the dollar. That means 20 cents we don't make that the men make. So it becomes imperative that we begin to ask ourselves, how come we're not willing to sit and have a conversation about money, learn new things about money? We learn the latest fads. We know the latest makeups. Many of you know the makeup and the lipsticks and the polish. And some of you know the latest songs. That doesn't have anything for your well-being. Hi, Lorna Mayfield. What does that have to do with your well-being? Knowing that you're feeling fairly secure in your life and that when the emergency comes, because we know it's going to come, you're prepared. How could you not want to have that, create that sense of security for yourself? That I have this here in this pot, I have money here in this pot, I have this over here. So if something happens here, well, I've got something to cover me. Something happens here, I've got something to cover me. We're busy thinking about what can I get the grandkids and what do I need to give to my sister and my mom wants this. And we're busy spending, but we're not planning. We're not planning. We're not planning. And we just focus and focus out there. If you're looking at TV all the time, TV's going to keep you focused out there. But where do you focus in here in your heart and really realize you want to live a certain kind of life? And I'm telling you, you could have it. The life I live right now, I didn't see it coming. I'm kind of like Oprah. She said she really doesn't set goals. She just moves with her intuition. I didn't see this life coming. I didn't know I'd have retainer clients to pay me every month. That I would have a business where I could support women, empower women from all over the world. I didn't know that, but I was willing to say yes to certain things. Hi, Terry Plants, Gardner. I was willing to step outside of the norm of what everybody else was doing and do something different. Trust me, I've lived there. I was in debt from 19 on. Thought it was cute and fun, had a credit card, didn't know anything about credit. So I've been there. I've walked around in the loop, just going around and around and around in what I call a money loop. And that's in my book if you haven't gotten it. It's on the website. Just going around like this little circle here. Same thing, over and over, then wondered, how could I possibly change this experience for myself? Because I knew I was in charge of it. I was getting paid every 2 weeks, so what was I doing with the money that didn't allow me to have grace and ease? Those are the questions we need to be willing to ask ourselves. And then when we answer them, then we have to be willing to hear the answer. And then once we hear our answer from ourselves, we already know what the answer is because we know what we're doing. Then we have to be willing, sheesh, walk right to a branch, Jenenne. Then you have to be willing to take action on it. We are so interesting to me. We will sit and sit and sit and sit with this, because I did it too, with money, and worry and try and figure it out and not ask for help. But in every other of our life, in every other area of our life, you know, we're calling the shots. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. But when it gets to money, we get quiet. And yes, there is a money taboo. But heck, that started in Britain. That was English that started that. It's a taboo to talk about money. That's for people who had the money. We ain't had the money. So what are we doing? Not talking about it. We need to be talking about it. We need to be uniting each other and working together. Men talk about money all the time, among everything else they talk about. But women, we want to be quiet. We want to be embarrassed. We want to just squirrel away and not let anybody know what we're going through. What if I have a solution? What if the person next to you on the call can say, oh, I know what to tell you how to do about that? What if someone's already walked the journey that you're on and have answers to make your journey a little shorter for you? What about all that? What about the power of women coming together? That I know. And that we come together to say, we're not going to live this way anymore. We're going to make some different choices. We're going to use our money, our gifts, and our talents in a way that fulfills us, uplifts us. And as we're uplifted and as we're fulfilled, we uplift and fulfill those close to us, around us, and under us. Like at work. So It's just something I want you to think about. Sorry. I did a wonderful webinar last week exposing the 5 money myths. I had so much fun. The women were so amazing. They were putting their comments and everything in the chat about what I was saying, what they knew, what they didn't know. So I know I'm on the right track. But all I can do is invite you to the table. You have to decide if you want to sit. You have to decide if you want to take the time, an hour and 10, 15 minutes out of your day, to sit down and listen to some other possibilities for you and your relationship with money. I mean, if your personal relationship is good, your relationship with your health is good, or maybe it needs some attention, all of it's going to come back to your relationship with money. And if you haven't upgraded, hi, Michelle. I'm going to go with Michelle Pringle because that other name, Posser, I don't want to mess it up. But how come you're willing to continue to do the same things over and over and get the same results and then be frustrated in your relationship with money? Is that the way you handle all your relationships? Or if you have a personal relationship in your marriage, do you just sit there with it? Or do you look for help? Do you get some consultant? Do you go to a therapist? Not your girlfriend and ask her what she should do. Although I know their good girlfriends do that. You know, what's your taxes? You don't know nothing about taxes, but you're going to do taxes? Huh? No. You get support. You give it to a tax person. I know I sure am. I'm going to do my profit and loss statement and say, here, do some kind of magic with it. When you break your leg, break a finger, heart attack, you go to the doctors. And the doctors step in. You don't just sit there and say, oh, I'm in pain, oh, I'm in pain, oh, I'm in pain. I'm going to do another one this coming Tuesday. So hopefully, that can be resolved. But I'm going to keep having the conversation because we take care of everything in so many other areas, and we take care of people in so many areas. But my concern is that we don't take care of ourselves. And one of the ways that shows up is in our relationship with money. And so my team was working with me last week when I did the webinar, and they hadn't heard me. So when it was over with, she's my team, but we're on equal footing. I mean, she's truly a millionaire. She started her business some years ago and really moved into being a millionaire. She's in technology, so you can understand that. And she's like, wow, that was some good information. I learned some things too. I thought, really? You're already a millionaire? She said, yeah. She said, oh my God, yeah, we've got to make sure. She's like, this is a conversation women should be having. And I thought, yeah, it is. So I just wanted to ask you, look at all your other relationships. How much time you put into your love relationship and working on that and make sure it's okay. How much time you put into your health relationship, exercising, eating better, going to sleep early maybe, not looking at TV as much. What about your spiritual relationship or religious? They're different to me, yes. What about that relationship? Are you giving it your time and your attention? Hi, Parrish. Oh, you did get the replay? Yay! Oh, good. I thought so. I asked Zenobia, do we have a replay? She said, yeah, the replay came. Oh, great. So there's all those relationships you're involved in. You're engaged in those. I just want you to look at your relationship with money and how are you engaged with it? Are you out of alignment in what you think about money, what you feel about money, and what you believe about money? Because as I continue to dive into this more and more, just this one topic, there's so much people believe about money, it's not even true anymore. It never was true. That's the thing. We live in a world where, things come to us like by osmosis. And it becomes a new thought that people have. And everybody starts thinking it. But nobody examines it or explores it to see, is that true? Money is the root of all evil? Is that true? Rich get richer, the poor get poorer? Is that true? I mean, we never ask that one thing. Is that true? If you had a man and you thought he was going down in a relationship with somebody, you wouldn't just say, is that true? You'd do more than that. If somebody's trying to put a lien on your house and take your property, you wouldn't be like, is that true? No, you'd be like, excuse me, we need to hire an attorney because this needs to stop. So when it comes to money, though, why won't we do the work? Why won't we do what we know needs to be done and do what we know needs to be done? couldn't find the mask. It was on my wrist. So anyway, it is an invitation for you to work with me for 3 months. You'll see it here over the next couple of days or so. And I'm really excited about the program I'm offering. Unlike anything I've done before, it's short, it's power-packed, it's about taking action. There's the invisible side to money that people don't really think about because everybody thinks money's the root of all evil. And then there's the visible side, which everybody knows very well. Money, credit card debt, buying, shopping, spending, all that. But there's some other elements to it that we don't know because we weren't taught. We weren't taught about any underlying principles that support money. It's like I said on the call, I like Jay-Z. I really like Jay-Z. And I'm clear the mindset that Jay-Z had sitting at his mother's kitchen table writing his lyrics is not the same mindset that he has now. It had to change for him to accept and grow into bigger things. When are you going to shift yours and change yours so you get to grow into bigger things and have different experiences? And it's about the experience. It's not about the money. I'm not concerned about how much money you have. I'm concerned with what you do with the money, what you think about the money you have. That's what I'm concerned about. Because you can have a little bit of money and still have a lot. You can have a little bit of money, but if you have the principles and the understanding, you can take that little bit and generate more. But if you don't have the understanding, then you do like I did. And I was just like in this money loop, going round and around. Every time I got paid, then I would finally stop. The bills were paid. Everything was covered. I had a roof over my head. And I had maybe $500, $600 left over. Now what are you going to do with it? It could have been enough to get me through the next 2 weeks till my paycheck came. But because I didn't have the discipline, the skills, was still operating off of old money mindsets, it didn't. And I don't want that for anybody, particularly for POCs. I think people of color really have to make some different decisions with what we do with our money and how we do it so that we can see different results in our lives and for our families. So this is a conversation that women should be having. How many of you are having a conversation about money with your friends? When you and your good girlfriends get together, do you guys talk about it? How you juggle things, how you manage things, how you make ends meet, how you grow your business, how do you bring in more clients to see greater revenue, or do you just talk about gossip stuff? Just something for you to think about. I'm going to invite you again to join me live, but it'll be like on next Tuesday. But in the meantime, I just want you to think. I want you to think about your relationship with money. We think so much. Katasha, Morris. We think so much about people. We think so much about our kids. I mean, I wake up thinking about my son. Go to sleep thinking about him, making all that doggone noise. We think about our families. We think about our siblings, our parents. We think about work and coworkers. We think about friends. We think about our nieces and our nephews. But where in there doggone it do we think about ourselves? And how come we will not take a stand for ourselves in a greater way or similar to the stand that we'll take for other people? We'll take a stand for somebody in a heartbeat that we think is not okay. They're being treated wrong. Well, right now, you're being treated wrong. You're not supposed to struggle with money. You're not supposed to be trying to figure out what am I going to do and how I'm going to pay this bill. You're supposed to be navigating that relationship through a particular frame of thinking, through a particular frame of reference, and through a particular energy so that you see different results. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be having fun with this money stuff. It's supposed to come and bring some things to us that we might not be able to have. But unfortunately, too often, we're upset, we're frustrated, and we're struggling when it comes to our money. It's okay, too, because no one taught me. I'm not sure who taught you. I keep learning. Even what I'm teaching now, I didn't know this 20 years ago. I kind of knew it, but didn't know it the way I got it now. So it's the same thing. If you exercise like I do, you have to change your workout. You have to change your routine. Your body gets used to, doing 50 push-ups, or your body gets used to doing 50 planks. So then you go to 55. So it's the same thing in our relationships. You start with $100, then you go to $1,000, then you go from $1,000 to $5,000, then you go to $10,000, you go to $10,000 up to $20,000. It's always about moving forward, taking that next step, taking that next step, taking that next step. And I'm calling you to take some different steps in your conversation with money. I want you to evaluate that relationship and see where you are. Where are you spending your money? How come you're spending your money? What are you thinking about when you're spending your money? And more importantly, how come You don't just hop on a call and get some new information about money. Whether you do anything with it or not, you won't be able to walk around on my watch and say, well, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know I could think that way. I didn't know I could have it. What I have now, I did not see at 15. The life I live now, I did not see at 25. But still, some way, I got to it. And if I can get to it, young girl, put in the orphanage as a baby, later adopted, raised by working class parents, you can get to it too. I lived in the east side of Los Angeles, that far from the Watts riots back in the day. I was in it. My parents were working class. It wasn't like I had a silver spoon. It's nowhere near I was getting the things that my son gets right now. I'm sure my mom would be like, are you crazy? So it does change, and we can change it because we change the way we think about money, we change the way we interact about money, we change the way we feel about money, and more importantly, we change the way we speak about money. I'm so tired of people talking about, I'm so broke, I'm such and such and such. Don't be claiming that. Say, I'm so rich that money unfolds easily and effortlessly. I'm so rich, money just falls out the sky. If you're going to dream, let's dream something big. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Every woman should be in this conversation. And if you don't want to be in the conversation with me, then be in the conversation with your girlfriends. But we need to start talking about money, financial confidence, being financially competent with our money and our choices. We need to stop letting America run us and telling us where to spend our money and what to spend our money on and how to spend our money, and decide for ourselves what's the most important thing for us in our lives. Isn't that pretty behind me? These trees in Pasadena, I tell you, just beautiful. We need to be the ones that are the helm, the CEOs of our financial life, and make strong, bold decisions for the future. See, right now, like I did before, all of my plans were immediate. It's just now over the last, wow, when did I start? 20 years. How old am I? No, okay, maybe, 20 years that has shifted for me. So the same is an option for you. Every woman should be having this conversation. That conversation is a conversation about money. It's not based on now. That's the biggest thing. I need us to remember it's based on the future. It's based on what's coming. It's based on what you say you want. It's based on what you say you need. Yes, it's about your big dreams. They have to come into manifestation, and you have to be that vehicle for them to flow through. And if you're sitting there in fear, you're sitting there in lack, and I don't know what I'm going to do, how's the dream going to flow through you if you're sitting there in lack? And I'm not talking about the money, I'm talking about your consciousness. Because I said on the call, money is not the issue. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of money to be had. But we're looking at having it through working hard. And that's not how you get it. How do you get it? The freebie I'll give you, you get it through ideas. You get it through ideas. There's no shortage of money. It's just that everybody's looking to have more money. Money, 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 money. What I want you to look at is completely different. So have a great day. I'll be on the call. I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow or the next day about your spiritual habits that's probably keeping you broke. That's another conversation. But today I just want to let you know it'll be an ongoing thing. This is a conversation women need to be having. How many of you have conversations with your friends about money? Tell the truth. You sit down and talk about how much money you make, how much money you spend, how much debt you're in, how much credit card debt you're in. How many of you do that? Oh, you don't talk about money with your friends? Why not? And there is the rub. We don't talk about it. We have the nerve to be embarrassed about our money. What are you embarrassed about? What, how they're going to think about you, how they're going to feel about you? We have all those hang-ups. You're welcome, Carol. And men don't. So just something for you to think about. If Carol's saying goodbye, I'm going to say goodbye too. I've said more than enough for you to think about. Share this with other women. Yes, please put share, like it. And then I'll put some information where you can join me next Tuesday live as we look at those 5 myths that just aren't true. Carol, you need to tell me what you thought. Send me an email or something. Does it make sense? Does it connect for you? Did you understand it? Let me know. So if I need to tweak anything by next Tuesday, I will. In the meantime, ladies, have a great day. Isn't this beautiful? I just walk for this. This is what makes me remember that there's more than enough, that there's not a shortage. No matter where I turn, I have this camera can pick up these beautiful trees in the background. That's why I come out here in nature, because it reminds me that there's more than enough. It reminds me that there's no shortage. There ain't no shortage of trees, ain't no shortage of leaves, ain't no shortage of birds, and that's the way life is. And I want you to be that big that you remember there's never any shortage. What do I need to shift to allow more to flow into my life? Take good care. Have a great day. I'll touch base with you later. Bye for now. I'll also be looking over on that side.